We are today at Betsy's Wood, GB 4427. So what are you doing here today, Dave? You might be wondering. Well, what I'm doing here today is activating again GB 4427, Betsy's Wood, first activated by Roger Betts. I think it's G0TRB off memory. Apologies, Roger, if I got it wrong. I'll put it on screen to correct it if I have got it wrong. But Betsy's Wood is named after a Roger Betts, but not the Roger Betts that you're thinking about, the famous amateur from working all countries and all that sort of stuff. Lots of awards if you look on QRZ, from Tamworth, which is 11 miles from here, seen on other videos. Anyway, I thought it was named after Roger Betts, but let me just show you something. It's named after Noel Betts. Noel was the dad of Roger. Roger's still alive, and Roger lives up there. Anyway, this is the gear we got today. A Wonder-Wand magnetic loop. You can see the wire around there, it's just a copper loop. And we've also got some messing polony, just a short reach. You're wondering why when this attaches to the radio, and I'll tell you more about it in a second. Inside there, I'll show you what's inside there in a quick sec. What I'm trying to do today is operate on 6 meters if possible, see how the rest go. The reason I've got the coax is, I remember the theory when I first built loops years ago. When I only time I built loops years ago, the operating height was recommended as about 7 foot off the ground. That's 2 and a bit meters. I'm almost 2 meters myself. So yeah, higher than me off the ground. Now, obviously that changes with frequency, but what I want to do is try and minimize that. So when I put this down on the radio on a bench, I'll show you in a second, it's not really high enough. And you've probably seen a previous video, I was successful once out of my back garden on 6 meters. Particularly good lift conditions, but I just want to increase my chances on the other bands should I need to use them. Okay, so what we have here is the IC-705 inside this tactical box. What else have we got inside the tactical box? We've got my AP. Somebody's written to me on my TikTok channel and said, but Dave, the AP works really well, that's access point from the Icom itself. It isn't for me. I might try in a bit to see if it works, but anyway, what I've got here also is my battery and some sticky tape, which you can't beat some electrical tape. And I've also got my push to talk. I try and keep the microphone a minimum on this, it tends to affect with the loop. If you put the loop directly on the radio, which as I say, I'm not going to do. Idea on the windy conditions today. Yesterday was breathless, but today quite windy, which with a magnetic loop is not a problem. Another reason I wanted to reactivate this park, he says, holding the dead cat in a strange way, is I'm almost at that award for 1,000 QSOs from one park. So about 900 and something. So this will help. Only running 5 watts though, because I've never bought an external battery. As you know, with the IC-705, you need to plug in an external battery, and that then gives you 10 watts, which a lot of people don't recommend you burn the full 10 watts into FT8 anyway. But 5 watts might be a struggle, so we can double the power if we really need to, and I'll need to jog home for that. So let's see how we go. Oh, I just had to quick jog home as well, because I was listening to a ham, I think, is it called Ham Shack Workbench or something, Ham Radio Workbench. It's a brilliant, brilliant podcast. Goes on for ages, a couple of dog walks, about 2 hours, but it is mega. And one of the things they said in there, they want to see from YouTube videos is things that go wrong. What were those that go wrong? I suppose you could say I should have bought the battery straight away as well, but I also didn't bring my iPad. So I've just jogged home to get the iPad. So anyway, if I'm slightly breathless, it's because of that. But let's get motoring and get the antenna up and all that sort of stuff. The things I always carry in the action box, whatever you want to call it, is a 259 to BNC and also 259 to 259. Very useful, and I will need it now to go on the end of my coax. I do get some people saying, oh God, you're one of those, you fell for it, messy and polony, you could just use some RG piece of string. Yeah, I could. Yeah, I definitely could. But look, I come from a cycling background, or marginal gains and all that sort of stuff. Do I want a coax I can tread on? Well, I don't want to tread on it, but just in case I do or somebody else does. Do I want a coax that stands out in public areas? I definitely do. And also, do I want something minimal losses? I know over a short range of coax make a lot of difference, but yeah, I do. So look, it's my money, and if it was your money and you could afford it, I'd have one of these for POTA over anything else. Progress so far, 1 in the log. 1. I'll show you a screen if I can do. to show you what's going on, and it's Hungarian station. I'm very, very pleased with that. Just 5 watts out, but we're on 20 meters. 20 meters, you said you're going on 6 meters. Let me show you why. There's a loop up the tree, and you know I said about making mistakes. Well, this is a bit built up in it really, and 6 meters, let's just face it, is VHF, right? Even though it's on HF rigs, they've got HF rigs plus 6 meters. Try and encourage us all to use it, which is good, but it's not going to work around here. We're 85 meters above sea level. Would need a proper lift. I'll try again in a little while when it goes a little bit later, but that's all I've done. So high up on this tree, chuck the coax over in a careful way, screwed on my tippy toes the magnetic loop. It's upside down and it's tuned. You'll see the tuning, not amazing tuning, but it's good enough, and we're sort of operating. Anyway, just show you a little bit around here. It's a lovely little spot in it. There's radio banging away. Yeah, still no more contacts. No contacts. I've got a DL station that's just come in. Fantastic. He's giving me a, I'm not sure at the moment, I'm giving him a -16. I'd imagine mine is worse than that with just 5 watts on the magnetic loop. Anyway, we hope and pray. Well, I'm attempting some QSOs on here. Just let you know, update, we're on 3. Not bad, eh? Just to talk about these Go boxes, this is a cracking piece of kit. I got it from Radio World. I noticed somebody selling them on AliExpress, one of the dealers over in the Far East. No doubt Radio World get theirs from a certain bit. The reason I bought it from Radio World is I've got comeback if anything wasn't quite right, and I was given a warning. Somebody said have a look at them, and I'm not sure they're brilliant, but actually I think they really are. I've done a few videos before about how I put it in. Literally it took like 10 minutes to plug it all in together. But what do you get for that? You get this bit here, you can put your mic in, stuff I've shown you before, all the little gubbins that you take along, for example, access point, spare battery, some electrical tape, little plug converter things, all that sort of stuff, right? So you can get, so I'll just try a different station here. You can do all that, but also radio goes in, stays lovely. Close this lid, and it's just nice, right? So you've got the USB. You don't have to do the USB-C mod because the case does it for you. You've got your Anderson power pole connectors for your spare battery, and you've got all your key, your send ALC, for example. I use that for if I use a linear, and then if you use an external tuner, for example, the AH705, you've got the plug for that. And it's all there. It's just everything. It's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, strongly recommend them. I tell you what, it can get really tough going when you're QRP. Whew. So I've been going 40 minutes and I've got 4 in the log. Always starts off well and then gets slower. So no doubt you get picked up by those people you're strongest with, and then it goes from there. There seems to be a little bit of fluctuation, but there's a lot of strong stuff today. And I've even just seen an M0 contact a VK2, and it's about 2:30 in UK time in the afternoon here at the moment. So it's fairly unusual, but flipping out, that's impressive. Not for me though, all local. And I've got 2 or 3 failed attempts where DK stations, German stations, tried to contact me. Apologies about that. For some reason I'm not hearing you very well. You're hearing me, but I'm not hearing you as well. It says a lot, doesn't it really? I might just nip back. I need that backup battery. I might charge it for 10 watts, and I might just go, oh God, get the linear and get a long wire and chuck it up quickly and see what happens. Not really the idea of QRP in it, but look, I'm trying to get to 1,000, Not going to do it today, but you know, incremental steps, and it's nice to get the 10 contacts needed for an activation. One thing when you're out here, and here's the thing, I mean, amazing, isn't it? We're on the edge of a village with about 700 people live here. It's school holidays. I know people are away in that, but it's super quiet, probably due to the heat midday, because any sensible person's not going to walk the dog at this time of day or go for a huge hike. But this particular part of Betsy's Wood, it's called Daffodil Wood. And what we do is we get muntjac in here. You can hear them calling at night. And when I walk my dog in the morning, sometimes just down in that direction, let me just show you what that direction is. And there's the Daffodil Wood sign. When I do that, you sometimes come across a muntjac. And I sometimes hear some like clicking in the woods here, and I just think it's dry wood, but turn around very slowly just in case it is one. And it's all the little benefits you get from being out here in nature, in the shade today for safety. Anyway, let's go back to the radio, which is just a few steps away to see what's going on. I think I'm at 6 at the moment, all being well. 4 more to go. I've switched over to FT4, bit radical, right? So gone over onto that some contesting stations on there, no doubt, because the signals are flipping great. But you know, more difficult on QRP, I think. Tell me in the comments below if I'm wrong, but don't seem to hear people like me in the noise so well. There's a lot of big stuff, and I know a lot of people filter in their software. They're on some software that filter out stuff that's Europe, and they want really the continental stuff. And I'm just struggling at the moment with an EA station is contacting me, thank you very much, but I'm not hearing him back again after initial contacts. Oh, we're back in touch again now. So stuff is happening. Look at this, look at this. Oh, this is a bit exciting. Ready? 9 contacts, thank you very much. SP7CWZ in Poland for that one. Oh, he's come back through again. Oh, we're repeating the conversation. Sometimes that happens on FT4, but you can only count the one. But yeah, one more needed for an activation. Number 10 QSO is coming in. It just shows you that patience works. So I just had to touch the screen, and it's confirmed. OL730PLZ, Czech Republic. Thank you so much. OM, I'm supposed to say Odemen. Yeah, we won't go on to XYL. I don't think that's very appropriate anymore, do we? Anyway, yes, OM, fantastic. That is brilliant. So I'm now on, let's just do on the screen recording so I can share this with you. Yeah, 10, and I'm just checking through the list. A bit like Santa Claus just before Christmas, checking it twice. They've all been nice, and I've got no dupes. I got rid of the dupe I got. So where have we got? We've got Czechoslovakia, Poland, Ukraine, fantastic, France, Italy, Lithuania, Germany, Italy, Germany, and Hungary, which particularly pertinent because I've got a Hungarian dog. So quite like that. But anyway, there you go. Fantastic so far. Right, what I'm going to do now is just try to finish off because I've got my 10. I like to have one more just in case, because sometimes funny things happening with the very strict software on the POTA app. So what I'm going to do, I'm just looking at the screen here, F3 CJ, France 3, Charlie Japan is calling all the time, just can't get through on Italian station. I will try IX1 HPN just to see if it comes through on, I'm on FT4 on 20 meters, you know, but I'm going to try 40 meters just to finish off, just try get an extra one and see what happens. So yeah, it's all a journey, and it's all a lot of patience that I haven't got a great deal of, especially when I forgot to bring some reading material with me, because it's great to do reading when you're on here. What I'm chasing up in the meantime is bloody eBay. So I sold a track bike, as in ride on a velodrome bike, single speed, no brakes, all that sort of stuff. Got way more for it than eBay would have thought, collection only, and guess what? Can you post it to me? So trying to do that, that's probably been taking up some of the time. One of the benefits of sitting on an FT mode. Some people say that 40 metres at daytime is a doddle. However, it wasn't for me yesterday. I had a flipping, well, it wasn't a nightmare. It was just not there. The band was there. I wasn't there. People couldn't hear me. I could hear them. So 40 metres was not a great experience, but that was down to me and not anything else. Right, back at base now, and you're probably wondering how I got on. Well, what we managed to do is activate the park, I already mentioned that, and I managed just by tuning around the bands. It's helpful if you can flick through the bands, and you can do obviously a magnetic loop. It's a bit of a pain retuning it, but easy enough. What I do is I walk over with my iPad and then tune it using my iPad, using the SDR control app connected to the radio, so I don't have to pick the radio up and or keep jogging backwards and forwards. You can see what the SWR is on the radio, tune for noise, and then tune to get it absolutely spot on a very low power setting using that SWR feature on the IC-705, which is so marvellous. And what's he rabbiting on about? Get to the point, David. And what I managed to do is operate on 12 meters and get another 2 contacts. That's 12 in total, 2 more than you needed, and all 12 are accepted by the POTA app. So that's great, and it takes a long time. So I reckon to get to 10, it took me just over an hour. Let's call it an hour and 10 minutes to get to 10. Bands weren't too bad. For a change, they were all right. But I reckon that's something worth trying on QRP. So particularly on FT8, you get the interest immediately when you're low power. It's the people who can hear you, and then it gets more of a struggle. So do that for one band. Once you've got a couple, go to another band, try and get a couple. This is subject to the bands working. Go to another band, get a couple, keep going up. And that might be a decent way. And definitely on 20 meters, FT4 is just a lot quicker than FT8. So there you go. Even though some of the stations are a bit picky, they've got those filters on and they're only looking for specific call signs or people over a certain distance. But there you go, job done. Little magnetic loop, working away as normal, 5 watts. Didn't need any more than that, even though I was panicking at one point, wasn't I? So thanks ever so much for watching, and we're another step closer to 1,000 contacts at that particular park. 73s. Whatever you're doing with your radio, have a great time.